She's so rotten, she wants migrants picking cotton. We present to you Democratic Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, who made this shocking argument why America needs immigrants. Roll it, Alfred.
So I had to go around the country and educate people about what immigrants do for this country, or the fact that we are a country of immigrants.
Right.
The fact is, ain't none of y'all trying to go and farm right now. Okay, so I'm lying. Raise your hands.
Wheels fall off.
You're not.
Jasmine Crockett came in confident, thinking her bold attitude and style would win the spotlight, but Greg Gutfeld and Megyn Kelly weren't buying it. They came prepared with sharp jokes, strong facts, and no patience for fluff. Gutfeld's criticism was so strong it felt like it needed a fire truck, and Megyn broke down Jasmine's points like a lawyer tearing apart a weak argument. In the end, Jasmine brought attitude to a strategy match and got outplayed for all to see.
That's what she does. She puts out this video of her acting in a certain way, and that's how she fundraises.
We actually did a bit of a deep dive on her after my old colleague from Fox News, Todd Starnes, posted something on X not long ago, Walter. He posted the following. Jasmine Crockett wants you to think she's from the hood, that she grew up on the streets. The exact opposite is true. She attended an exclusive day school where tuition is nearly $35,000 a year. She also attended Rhodes College, a private school where tuition is nearly $55,000 a year. She's cosplaying a gangsta. So we looked up her background. She was born in St. Louis. She's 43. Her dad was a Baptist pastor and a teacher. Her mother worked in a post office. She graduated from Mary Institute and St. Louis Country Day School, one of the most expensive private schools in the city. Indeed, the current tuition, $35,000.
Jasmine Crockett came into politics like she was starring in a reality show no one asked for, somewhere between a courtroom and a drama series. She seemed to think C-SPAN was meant for loud arguments and dramatic eye rolls. Honestly, if tweeting, comebacks and causing online drama were real political skills, she'd be running Congress by now and maybe even holding the title of Secretary of SAS. But unfortunately for Jasmine, real politics takes more than striking poses at hearings and giving bold looks to the camera.
Jasmine Crockett's got another hot take. No blacks and whites on a wedding cake. The Democrats' new chosen one, Jasmine Crockett, is in the news again for an old clip where she attacked Florida Rep Byron Donalds for marrying a white woman. Roll it, Bertha.
The fact that you sitting around talking about life was better under Jim Crow, is this because you don't understand history? Or literally it's because you married a white woman and so you think that whitewashed you?
That's not very woke, is?
Then came Greg Gutfeld and Megyn Kelly, two media pros who don't need flashy effects or emojis to get their point across. They weren't there to joke around. They came to deliver a serious takedown. It felt like Jasmine Crockett showed up to a tough job interview on Shark Tank dressed for a costume contest called RuPaul's Drag Race, Politics Edition. This wasn't a friendly debate. There were no polite answers or buzzer sounds, just a rough exchange of words. And Jasmine looked totally out of place, like she brought a tricycle to a monster truck rally.
Of leftist hypocrisy and cluelessness. Jasmine Crockett is a rising star amongst the far-left progressives in this country. She's a representative from Houston, Texas, of all places, which makes no sense because she seems to be far too left for Houston, but apparently not, because they elected her. It must be like, Orange County in California being like the one outlier in an otherwise uniformly covered, state, like all red with the one blue, all blue with the one red. Okay, so Jasmine Crockett got up at a Los Angeles dinner this past Saturday, and it was hosted by, this is perfect, the human rights.
Let's be real. Greg Gutfeld has the energy of a clever raccoon who knows the Constitution by heart and uses sarcasm like a weapon. Meanwhile, Megyn Kelly showed up like a strict principal brought in to stop a cafeteria food fight. And Jasmine, she was the student throwing mashed potatoes, not realizing the whole thing was being recorded in high definition.
That was 3 years ago. The ones of her just sounding like a normal person talking. 3 years, not like that was 20 years, but then she moved to Mississippi for all that time. That was 3 years ago. She sounded like a totally normal person. It's only now she's got her accent and she's gonna kick everybody's ass. It's such an affectation.
Crockett's whole political style is based on looking angry with flair. It's like adding glitter to a legal case. It might catch your eye, but it doesn't add much substance. What she did wasn't real debate. It felt more like a performance, full of dramatic lines like "I'm speaking now and let me finish." She seemed to forget that real leadership takes more than long pauses and camera-ready stares. It takes real ideas and serious effort.
Is she making any point there?
Like this makes me wish my mom made different father choices.
Greg didn't have to raise his voice, just a few dry jokes, and Jasmine Crockett's arguments fell apart like a cheap suit on sale. He treated her points like expired coupons, outdated and not useful. Every time she tried to deliver a big moment, Greg barely reacted. He wasn't being rude, just so unimpressed he could have solved a puzzle while still roasting her mid-speech. Megyn Kelly had that quiet authority that makes people sit up straight without her even saying anything, while Jasmine acted like she was auditioning for a political version of Mean Girls. Megyn came prepared with facts, dates, and sharp arguments. Watching her take apart Jasmine's image felt like a serious audit, calm, precise, and kind of satisfying. And since this wasn't a formal debate, no one had to wait their turn. Megyn broke down Jasmine's political record like a science project hand. There wasn't much there. It felt like Jasmine had joined a group project, added some emojis to the slides, and then tried to take all the credit.
So this is funny. Jasmine Crockett sits on the Judiciary Committee, and about a month ago, Walter, I testified.
Yes,
before the
we saw
Judiciary.
this.
Yeah, and the hearings, the full committee hearings, are quite long. You can be there for over 4 hours. So, and they let the most junior members ask questions last. So I had to sit for quite a long time. And then at the very end, Jasmine Crockett, who I'd never heard before, suddenly started screaming at me and Michael Schellenberger. And when you're a witness in Congress, you have to pay attention to what everybody says, because you never know when you're going to be asked an actual question and allowed to, maybe even allowed to speak. But I could not understand what she was saying. She was moving from one thing to another, and she was doing all that code switching stuff with the y'alls and y'all eyeing on this.
Gutfeld made one thing clear. Jasmine Crockett isn't focused on real policies, she's focused on putting on a show. Her style is all about looking like she's fighting back, with finger snaps, eye rolls, and social media posts ready to go. It's not that she isn't smart, it's that she often stretches the truth when the cameras are on and the hashtags are waiting. What she really needs isn't a debate, it's a solid PR team and someone to remind her that Congress isn't a stage for improv with a dress code. There was one moment that said it all. Jasmine tried to say something dramatic about standing up for the people, and Gutfeld didn't even respond. He just paused, smirked, and let the silence speak for itself, like a spotlight shining on a performer with no act. That's how you shut someone down without saying a word. As for Megyn, she didn't even blink. That calm comes from years of handling tough elections and media storms. Jasmine's fans might call her bold, and maybe she is, but only in the way that yelling at a drive-thru speaker is bold. Being loud doesn't make you right, and shouting doesn't mean you've made a real point. While Jasmine turned every moment into meme material, Greg and Megyn gave a clear example of how to stay sharp in politics without making a fool of yourself.
Woman, I've had about enough of her. She wants to be like a member of the squad. She thinks of herself like an AOC. She talks like, she's from the hood. Meanwhile, she grew up in a nice family. She didn't talk like this 3 years ago. 3 years ago, she sounded like you and I sound in this conversation. Like, I'm really excited to be going to Congress. I can't wait to get started on my new job. And now she's like, we need to smack him in the head.
We know that we work for the American people. And what we not gonna do is stand around while they pull this that they trying to pull right now.
Like, what? What do you, we have videotape. Why are you talking like that? No one believes this bull. And now she's graduated to acting like a thug. So congratulations, your term in the U.S. Congress is going really well.
That was a great...
Jasmine Crockett tossed out buzzwords like confetti at a New Year's party, hoping something would stick, but this wasn't a celebration. It was a serious debate, and she ended up being the target. Her defense mostly involved eye rolls, so dramatic, they looked painful. Meanwhile, Megyn Kelly stayed calm and brought real facts like actual bills and voting records things. Crockett didn't seem to review since her last viral post. It wasn't a fair fight. Crockett brought emotions. Gutfeld and Kelly brought evidence. The real problem? There's a big gap between how Crockett sees herself and what she actually does. She seems to think she's delivering powerful speeches, but really, it's all social media drama. After her big fail, you'd expect her to pause, maybe read up on government or at least review some real legislation, but no. She doubled down, like someone trying to play Uno in Congress. Reverse, skip, draw 4. But Greg and Megyn weren't playing games. They brought the truth, and Crockett's version of reality didn't hold up.
Do you share your boxcar with people of color?
I do.
Yeah.
My boxcar does not know race, does not know gender. It is a welcome space
That is so
where only
beautiful.
deodorant is not welcome. I like this Jasmine Crockett lady, right?
It's a great name, isn't it, for a villain?
Yeah.
And Crockett is the whitest last name you could ever have. I'm gonna throw that out there.
Sonny Crockett, Miami Vice.
Yes?
It's like the whole thing is like, because I've seen her, she's very well spoken, and then she gets on certain programs and lets it. So maybe this whole thing is like a Netflix documentary, like a new spin on Dr. Jekyll and Mrs. Hyde.
And it's not even personal. Gutfeld and Kelly weren't making fun of how she looks, they were pointing out how shallow and attention-seeking her style of politics is, like something you'd see in a BuzzFeed article. 29 times Jasmine Crockett used side-eye to serve justice. If she spent even half as much time working on laws as she does posing for cameras, she might actually get something done that isn't just a flashy tweet pretending to be a real bill. Let's focus on results, that's what politicians are supposed to deliver. Gutfeld, who's good at making quiet jabs, said what many were thinking. Jasmine Crockett's work looks like someone Googled how to sound woke and stopped at step 1. No major laws passed, no big wins, just loud talk, and even louder drama, all boosted by confidence without action. Crockett seems to think making a difference means getting retweeted by someone with a blue check and good lighting. And Megyn Kelly, she cut through all the noise fast and sharp. When you really look at it, Crockett's time in office isn't about helping people, it's about turning herself into a brand. That's not real public service. That's just self-promotion, pretending to have purpose.
She is going to be the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah.
You are going to be so glad she
Keep
popped
her
up
around.
on the scene.
That's going to make up for the White House Correspondents' Dinner. She's going to we're going to get a segment a day from her.
Have you ever seen someone dodge responsibility by giving a speech about their feelings? That's what Jasmine does. Saying I feel attacked isn't a plan, and I feel disrespected doesn't fix roads, but it does get likes, shares, and just enough drama to keep the cameras on her. And let's be honest, that's what she really wants. Greg Gutfeld made a sharp comparison. Her politics are like microwaving frozen food and pretending it's homemade, lots of noise. No real substance, and it leaves people unsatisfied. Her slogans are like cheap furniture, put together fast, weak, and they fall apart under pressure. Her whole approach is to be loud, not clear. In December, it felt like her rule was, if you don't know, yell. If you're stuck, wave your arms. If you're wrong, blame someone else. Somehow, she sees herself as Rosa Parks with a selfie light. But here's the truth. Rosa Parks didn't need a phone to make history. Megyn Kelly didn't have to dig deep to show what was really going on. She just pointed it out. Jasmine's words faded fast, like campaign promises after the election. Was almost poetic. She sends mixed messages asking for justice without doing the work, claiming to be oppressed while holding a press pass, and acting like not knowing things is trendy.
This is, if you're gonna talk about black history, at least know it. This is, at least know it, okay? But it goes back to, that was 45 seconds of some of the, like Kamala, you good right now. That was some of the dumbest I ever heard in my life. Here's the thing, this goes back to what we talked about earlier. They never have a solution. Just listen to your dumbass talk. You want to talk about agriculture? Why don't you fix the lottery? Why don't you make it easier for people who want to come into this country to work in agriculture and equitation?
Crockett's favorite move in politics seems to be the stare. You know, the one when she runs out of things to say, but still wants to look like she knows something deep. Like a magic 8-ball full of attitude. But Greg and Megyn weren't fooled. They've seen that act before. It's not confidence, it's just stalling made to look strong. The criticism was so complete, she didn't even try to answer. Her silence wasn't power, it was a loss. There's a special kind of crash when someone runs out of spin mid-sentence and realizes no one is clapping. That's what happened. And, let's not pretend this was just one bad moment. It's a pattern. Her time in Congress has mostly been loud speeches with no results. She doesn't show up to lead, she acts like Congress is a stage at a poetry night. All performance and no action. Meanwhile, regular people want real solutions, not online drama. That's why Gutfeld and Kelly's takedown wasn't just was necessary. Someone had to finally ask, can we stop confusing vibes with real leadership? Because honestly, Crockett isn't working for the people she's building her online following. You'd think after getting roasted and turned into a meme by two of the smartest voices in politics, she might slow down and focus on real work. But no, she'll probably post an emotional video next. Sitting in a Tesla with Starbucks in one hand and half-quoting Malcolm X in the other. Now let's really look at what happened. Gutfeld, with his usual bored tone, broke her down easily. He made it clear, if your whole act is fake outrage, you're not a leader, you're just a reaction video in a blazer. And Megyn. She didn't just take down her argument, she exposed the whole performance. It was like getting roasted in Latin. You didn't understand every word, but you knew you lost. There's something powerful about a takedown that uses brains instead of yelling. Crockett showed up ready to yell, not to debate. And the funniest part, she still thinks she won. Like someone who gets voted off Survivor and says it was all part of their strategy. No, sweetie, you didn't win. You got played.